welcome to my channel. I'm an international nurse who is helping all the nurses out there to pass their NCLEX exam. So today's topic is positive symptoms in schizophrenia. I will tell you in brief of what schizophrenia is. Schizophrenia may be the most devastating mental illness that a human can experience. The client who is suffering from schizophrenia will have disturbance in their thought process, will have a disturbance in their perception, which can eventually result in severe deterioration of social and occupational functioning. Okay, now let's discuss the positive symptoms of schizophrenia. Before starting the actual presentation, let's discuss about the term delusion. It is a false fixed belief or false personal belief. Here, the individual continues to have a belief in spite of showing obvious proof that it is a false or irrational. For example, here you see this picture. A person have a fixed belief that he has a muscular body structure, even though patient is not actively involved in doing any type of physical exercise. If a nurse tries to change it by showing multiple proofs to a patient, he is not going to believe because he has a fixed mindset regarding that particular belief. So the NCLEX tip for the nurses is don't challenge a delusion. You do not have to say anything to a client. Before we move further, we need to know these three terms: delusion, illusion, and hallucination, and the difference in between these three terms. Delusion, as I already explained in the previous slide, it is a false, fixed belief. Next is illusion. It is a misinterpretation of a real stimuli. This is a disorder where real object is present, but the object is perceived by the patient as a complete different subject or object. For example, a person can take a rope as a snake. We all see that this picture is having a rope. However, a person who is having schizophrenia can think that this is not a rope, it is a snake. Next is hallucination. It is a false sensory experience with no physiological or real stimulus. Hallucination deals with five senses. These are all five types of hallucination that a person can experience. First is auditory hallucination, that is involved with the sound. These are the most common type of hallucination. It involves hearing sound that are not real, like music, footsteps, or door banging. The voices may be positive, may be negative, or neutral. They may command you to do something that may cause harm to yourself or to others. Next one is visual hallucination, that involves our eyesight. These hallucination involves seeing things that are not real. For example, a person can see a different object that is not real, people, animal, or anything. Third is tactile hallucination. These hallucinations cause you to feel touch on your body, a feeling of sensation on your body, a movement in your body that's not even real. A person may think that he or she have a bugs which are crawling on his skin. Okay, the next one is olfactory hallucination, that is linked with the smell. These hallucination involves experiencing smells that don't even exist. The other one is gustatory, that is related with the taste. Hallucinations cause taste that are often strange or unpleasant. So we need to know the difference in between these three terms, and I think you are all clear about these five terms of hallucinations too. There are different type of delusion. First is delusion of persecution. Here, the individual feels threatened or he believes that others are trying to harm him. For example, he can say, my neighbors break into my house at night and steal my clothes out of my closet. Or he can say, the police is trying to follow me because they want to threaten me or torture me. He can say, an evil spirit is trying to kill me. Or he can say, the government is poisoning me through the drinking water. Here, person feels threatened from the public or from his own people or from anyone. He feels threatened. The next delusion is delusion of grandeur. In this, the individual feels he has exaggerated feeling of importance, power, knowledge, or identity. The person can say, I am a Jesus Christ. I am the richest person in the world. I am one of the biggest philanthropist, or anything he can say, because he have a feeling of importance. He is feeling that he is powerful person in the world. This is a delusion of grandeur. Next is delusion of reference. Anything that is happening in the environment, the client relates that thing to himself. For example, if there is a news going on in the TV, he will say, yeah, this news is trying to give me a message and I need to break the code. If there is a rally going outside, he will say, yeah, these people are trying to give me a message, or something like that. He referred himself to anything that is happening in the world. The another delusion is delusion of control or influence. The individual believes that a different object or a person have control over his behavior. For example, he goes to the dentist and dentist put a filling in his tooth, and he will say, yeah, the dentist put a filling in my tooth. I know now I receive transmissions through this filling, and that control me what I think and I do. So he feels that somebody is trying to control him or influence him. Okay, the next positive symptom of schizophrenia is religiosity. It is an excessive demonstration of or obsession with religious ideas and behavior. Here, the schizophrenic person will say, I'm hearing the voice of a God, I'm talking to the God directly, God is listening to me, all of these things. However, it is really hard to assess if this is a schizophrenic person who is saying this, or a normal person who is actually spiritual and is doing meditation and is having spiritual ideas and is really religious. So it is really hard to assess which is normal and which is schizophrenic. The next is paranoia. Individuals with paranoia have extreme suspiciousness of others and of their actions of perceived intentions. Patient will think that his food has been poisoned and someone is trying to kill him, and he will say, I won't eat this food, I know it has been poisoned, or he may ask the nurse to eat it. The main tip for the nurse is never taste a client food. What is the option for the nurse in this case? Always provide a packed food or canned food to a patient. Okay, the next symptom of schizophrenia is associative looseness. Here, the thinking of the client is characterized by speech, in which ideas shift from one subject to another. For example, a client is saying something and he is changing a subject to a different topic, and his sentence are not connected with each other. This is associative looseness. For example, we wanted to take the bus, but the airport took all the time. Driving is a ticket when you want to get somewhere. No one needs a ticket to heaven. We have it all in our pockets. So this is something where thinking and thoughts are not connected with each other, and the sentences that the client is speaking are not connected. He is saying whatever he wants to. There is no connection in between these sentences. Okay, next symptom is neologism. The word itself says neo, it means new. A psychotic person invents new words that doesn't even exist in this world. According to him, there is a meaning to that particular word, but the listener will not be able to understand that word, and it is a meaningless word to that listener. For example, a psychotic person can say, she wanted to give me a ride in her new uniform. There is no word like uniform in the world, but according to that psychotic person, it is a word. Next is, okay, the next symptom is concrete thinking. It is a literal interpretation of the environment. Whatever idiom we say to that psychotic person, he will take that idiom word by word. And it is really difficult for the psychotic person to have a abstract thinking. For example, the client with schizophrenia would have great difficulty describing the abstract meaning of saying, such as, it's raining cats and dogs. For a normal person, it means it's raining heavily. And for that psychotic person, he will actually think that it is raining cats and dogs. So they have a concrete thinking. Okay, the next symptom is clang association. Here, client choose the words based on their sounds instead of their meaning. It often take the form of rhyming. For example, the client will say, it is very cold. I am cold and bold. The cold has been solved. Other example can be on the track. Have a Big Mac. Listen to that sack. Something like that. So this is a clang association which involves with the rhyme. Okay, the next symptom that a schizophrenic person can experience is word salad. As the word says, word salad means jumbling of words, jumbling of different words that are meaningless to the listener. Here, a word salad is a group of words that are put together randomly without any logical connection. You can see the example throat, horse, strength, policy, essential, board, Brazilian. There is no connection in between these words, but the person is saying these words regularly. So, this is a word salad. Okay, the next symptom is circumstantiality. Ask a question to a psychotic person, and how he will gonna answer is he will have different thoughts in between that question and will reach out to the point after a long process of thoughts. With circumstantiality, the individual delays in reaching the point of communication because of unnecessary and tedious details. For example, if you're asking a particular question to the client, he will start saying different topics. I will give you one example and will explain you different terms according to this example. Where do you live? I like eating pizza. My mom and I go outside near beach on sunny day and we live in Vancouver. He reached to the final point. We live in Vancouver. The question I asked. But in the another slide, tangentiality, here the person will never reach out to the question that we have asked. For example, you ask, where do you live? Oh, I like eating pizza. My mom and I go outside near beach on sunny day. I play video games. We are going to see my cousin next week. He is not going to give an answer to your question. That is tangentiality. That's the difference between circumstantiality and tangentiality. In that, patient reaches to the final point. Here, he never reaches to the final point. Okay, next is cognitive retardation, a generalized slowing in pace of thinking and delays in responding to questions. Ask a question to that client, where do you live? I don't know. Something like that. He is never going to answer your question. Or it may be a slowing in a pace of thinking. He is thinking about that question and he will not be able to recognize that or answer that question in a certain way. Next is mutism, individual's inability or refusal to speak. Ask a question, he is not going to say anything. Ask a question, where do you live? Person is not going to speak a word in front of you because this is a symptom of schizophrenia. It is called mutism. Okay, the last symptom that I'm going to explain in this slide is preservation. Individual who exhibit these symptoms persistently repeats the same word or idea in response to a different question. You ask different type of question to this patient, but the answer only going to be one word. For example, what is your name? My name is Glass. Where do you live? Glass. What are you doing? Glass. What are you eating? Glass. What are you saying? Glass. Only one word. Preservation means he preserves one word and is going to say this word to every question that we ask. This is the end of the presentation. I have explained you the positive symptoms that happens in schizophrenia. At the end, I would like to show you one of the NCLEX questions that I want you guys to answer. So, question is, a client is diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia, tells the nurse, I have to get away. The Walmers are coming to execute me. The term Walmers can be assessed as, what do you think the Walmers is? Is it a neologism? Is it a clang association, blocking, or delusion? What is going on with this client? Okay, so what's going on with the client? What's the answer? The answer is neologism because there is no such word called Walmers. All right, thank you for watching. And please subscribe to my channel. And I will come back soon again with new videos. In the meantime, you can ask me any questions in the comment section. Take care. Bye.